And then I have a short film or two that I'm also working on. So,
So do you do any writing at all or not yet?
not yet, but I'm definitely I am interested in that aspect of it too. But I'm just here to network with some other horror enthusiasts because that's what I like to do too. So,
And that's the one thing about these short story markets is that you find out what kind of stuff that they're looking for. And some of it is flash fiction, which is under 1,000 words, which is, 4 pages or less that, you can think about and maybe come up with something.
mhm.
Because I've had three purchased this year so far. So one was a reprint. So we'll see, what happens because I'm sending out 2 or 3 a week for these. So I was saying earlier that tomorrow you'll be getting an email. I've put together a list of all of the Facebook horror groups, and some of them are market groups, and then and also for horror filmmakers. And then there's a list of all of the websites that I get emails from about script writing, and some of them have con, not contests, scripts available for free. And then today I got an email about 26 markets for short horror fiction. So check those out and maybe, think of something to write and market because there was one movie, a sci-fi movie that I think came from like a short script, and you don't know if that first came from a short sci-fi piece. So, I think you should always be thinking, okay, write the script, but also, if it doesn't sell, adapt it to, like I said, a short script or a short story or even a book because, you can post it yourself on uh, as an ebook and make money on it. So, Shadow, if you want to introduce yourself to the people here who don't know you.
Sure. Can you hear me? I guess you
Yes.
can.
Yeah.
Um,
Good.
so Shadow Dragu Mihai. I'm a producer director for 20 plus years. And I'm fairly active on Stage 32. I'm in Los Angeles. I've got a series called Sin 13 that we premiered in July that we're putting out, finally promoting this week, and then going to be shooting more episodes as COVID winds down. I've got that's kind of a paranormal espionage series, kind of like Atomic Blonde meets X Files in a way. Then there's a feature film which I won't detail yet because we haven't announced it properly, and we can't do that till next month. But we will be shooting part of that in December, and then we'll be shooting the bulk of it in spring and summer. It'll be a fairly large production.
Great. So, Patricia, what are you working on?
Hi, everyone. Well, right now I guess I should sort of, as you know, I'm sort of, from my earlier conversation, I'm new to this whole world. I'm a big sci-fi buff, but I also like horror. I have a lot of films, which I enjoy. And a friend of mine and I have been just sort of um, making shorts between each other, but our gear is getting better, and we're finding that we're kind of wanting to take this more seriously. So I think what I'm here to do, in terms of my background and education, I am in post-production. I do animation and editing. primarily, and some shooting, but my specialty is mostly post-production work. And I work for a company that does marketing for a lot of the major distributors, Hollywood distributors for their films to promote their stuff in Canada. And I'm in Canada. So I'm hoping to take my skill set, and I'm developing some relationships in Hamilton, where I live. And I'm hoping that if I to continue to connect the dots and maybe develop a nice script, the stars will align and we'll be able to put something more serious together, which is one of the reasons why I'm here.
And I'm from Hamilton, Ontario.
You're from Hamilton? Yeah. Well,
East End.
hi. Yeah, I'm Fennel and Upper Ottawa area.
I'm King and Rosedale,
Ah,
just
small
down the
small
hill.
world. Ah, cool, cool.
Good, good. So, Doug, what are you working on?
I'm mostly retired right now. I'm working on teaching. I'm working on setting up a DSLR filmmakers course. And I teach screenwriting out here on the West Coast. As a producer, ex-producer, I've been in and out of the industry since about 1967, 68, somewhere in there. Mostly I'm looking to get back into producing. I've been a line producer. I've been a staff writer. I've been a field producer, even an EP. So I'm just looking to get back to it. I'm just looking to see what's going on out there. I'm starting to get ready to start shooting a bunch of shorts. I have a whole shelf full of scripts ready to go that have all been in contests, won contests, or have done pretty well. If you look behind me here, you'll see a whole list of white binders on the shelf there. Those are all film scripts that are pretty much ready to go. Start casting.
Great. So, Nick, if you want to tell us what you're doing.
Yeah, sure. So, I wrote a script on Celtics, and that was more of a romantic comedy. But I am interested in more on suspense and horror as well. I did like horror films in the beginning, so I wouldn't say I'm very, yeah. I mean, I know I don't like certain genres, like I don't like fantasy. So, I mean, but I do like other areas. So, I'm just exploring. I'm currently in marketing. Yeah, I'm a marketing consultant for tech companies. Yeah, but I've used some elements in advertisements and production. Yeah, like video production. But yeah, I mean, I want to just work as kind of a freelance screenwriter on the side and just kind of learn. Yeah, like right now I'm just learning and just currently just reading scripts, learning more about the field, and just yeah, writing whenever I get the time. Yeah, so that's where I'm at.
Now, for anybody who writes short horror scripts or any kind of short scripts, you can post them free on inktip.com's website. So, make sure that you check into that, or if you're looking for any short scripts, that's a place to have it. And then Inktip has a weekly newsletter with 6 to 10 producers looking for various scripts. And every week they have at least one producer looking for horror scripts. Mainly, 1 or 2 locations, 2 to 3 actors. So that's so anyone in the horror area, that's very important.
Now, if it's, I mean, I've always been interested in suspense, but how is it where it's a kind of a combination of suspense and horror? Is that still classified as horror, or what? Yeah, like what distinguishes it sometimes? Like sometimes it overlaps, right? Like that.
Well, I think when you think of horror, you think of blood and guts and pain and suffering and that sort of thing.
Okay.
That doesn't necessarily it's it's not always there in suspense or thriller. It could be, you know, a lot of them are psychological thrillers
Sure.
or
Yeah.
what's very big is domestic thrillers where, you know, it happens a residential area, usually within families and you know a couple of houses, you know, problems with the neighbors, that kind of thing, or ex-husbands and you know
Yeah.
brothers or ex-brother-in-laws and stuff like that, domestic violence and stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I've always been like a fan of like Halloween series. So that would be considered like horror. Yeah, probably.
Yes, yeah.
Hmm.
Horror. Yeah, so I did like Halloween and yeah, so you know, maybe not as gory as other horror movies, yeah. But I did like that and yeah, so I'm kind of just exploring. I mean, there's a few ones that I really like. It was actually shot in the Bay Area. It's called Searching. That was released like 2 years ago. It's about a girl who gets kidnapped and murdered. So I mean, it was more of a suspense, but there was some horror to it a little bit. Yeah, so I'm kind of looking into um, something like that, kind of a combination, yeah, kind of hybrid. Yeah, but yeah, I'm just trying to figure out a script. Yeah, just I really like, I'm always fascinated by just, like I always read the news about like kidnapping, very like odd situations that happen, currently, and how it goes about, like, really mysterious, like unsolved mysteries, like those types of things. But kind of like I want to create like maybe like a horror element to it as well. So that's what I'm kind of looking into. Yeah. So thank you.
So in that respect, if you've got any ideas from just say like newspaper or magazine articles that you should be keeping a file on that, or if you're finding them online, you should have like a research file um, in some document, you know, on different stuff like you said about kidnapping or murders or you know
Yeah.
psychological and things like that, to split them up so that when it comes to you know, looking for ideas or what has been done, then to have that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even I live in the Bay Area, which is, I mean, like, I don't know if as much crime as other places, and they have such tech, but even within the Bay Area, there's so much going on. There's just, I think there was I mean, there's just even, yeah, I just read the news, the local news, but there's just so much, just, like it's so unsolved mysteries that go on every day. So it's always interesting, and that, yeah. So yeah, but thank you. I'll document anything that I find interesting and maybe kind of jot a note. What do you think I should like maybe document it on like Celtics or like Word, or what do you think, how to start?
Whatever you're using, like all the websites and links, you know, just put them in some kind of Word or Celtic document so that you
Sure.
can you know access
Okay.
it and put it in a file. You know, if you've got a writing folder, then you would make a subfolder for you know research and then the different aspects of the research. Now,
Okay.
one book that I've read recently and bought, I found very good, is called The Screenwriter's Handbook by Thomas Fenton. I don't know if you can see it. Ooh. But I'll put the information on the email tomorrow about it. And and he also does
Wait,
script
did you say
consulting.
Thomas Hansen? How did you spell that?
Fenton, Fenton,
Thomas Fenton.
The Scream Writer's Handbook. 10 Steps to Writing a Terrifying Screenplay.
That's
So
awesome. Does
Yes.
it help with maybe putting something together that would be good for a short film,
Oh
do you
yes.
think?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. 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 And then I think it's very important for any shorts is to go to any of these contests and look at all the winners of the short contests, you know, and see how they did it, right?
You know,
Like,
that's pretty much all I do now is shorts. So, and I've looked at everything from, you know, the Oscar winners on down. And the one thing that I have noticed is that an awful lot of people don't really seem to be taking this filmmaking as a serious enterprise. It seems to be a lot of people are dealing with it more as a hobby. And how can you expect to become financially successful or, you know, just economically successful in the industry as a hobbyist?
well, it depends what they want to do. If
Yes,
they're
it
just
does.
starting off as their portfolio, if they don't have, you know, the equipment and technology to put together a good short, then you know, they're not taking courses or webinars and everything to improve their technique, then they're not going to progress.
I, for what it's worth, I find that I want to take it serious. I'm kind of dug in that boat, in the sense that my primary income is a full-time job as an editor in Toronto. But uh, mm, the reason I'm here doing this and meeting people is to sort of take the next step to explore um, the possibility of producing content independently, with the intention of hopefully making that sort of a more economical, vessel where I can maybe make a transition. But one of the things from my perspective right now, being as green as I am, is to produce a short. For me, it feels like it's a bit of a financial gamble. I have to, allocate funds from my primary income to do this hobby, um, with the hopes that I can produce something that catches the right kind of attention that can maybe take me to the next step. So maybe that's why I come across as a hobbyist right now, because but I am very open to the idea of making it a revenue stream for sure. Um, but I don't see how I can sort of, I have a house, I have two kids and a wife and stuff like that, bills to pay. So I can't just sort of say, just quit my job and do this unless I know how I can make something at this scale financially, give back, right? And I don't know how I can do that right now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the point is don't quit your day job. Obviously, you know, you need that. But the first thing to do is to write a killer script. Learn to do that. And when you're writing shorts, make them character pieces. And you can write a really, really compelling short in probably 10 to 12 pages, maybe 15, but keep it really intense. Now, I will tell you something about all this horror and blood and guts stuff that I see a lot of young filmmakers doing, or young writers. That's not the way to go. You need to write a real serious drama piece that has a significant character arc to it. I suggest you look at some of the more recent films that have won Academy Awards. They're shorts. They have won the live short Academy periods. Look at The Stutterer. Look at The Phone Call. Look at the Crush. Look at those films. Look at those films and see what they really are. how they complete an entire story in, well, in the Academy Award winners, those are usually in the 18 to 20 page script. But see how they really put a story together in 10 minutes. The phone call is absolutely excellent. It really has one character and a voice on a phone. And obviously, Sally Field is a very fine actress, and she's able to carry that across. But you have to look at something like that and see how it's done. And then you can write something like that. The first thing to keep in mind is a theme. What is the theme that you want to write? Do you want to write a coming of age story? Do you want to write a love is thicker than blood story? Do you want to, what is it that you really want to write? I'm working on a short right now. I have two characters. Both of them are ghosts who meet in the afterlife. The theme is getting over past tragedies in order to move on. Now, you have to have something that's going to make the audience pay attention to, I need to learn something from this. So that's the kind of depth you need when you're putting together a short film, short script.
So I had a question. Where do you you talked about the Academy Award shorts? Where can you access the scripts? Is it usually, do you have to just Google it, or is there a database? Is there extra site for it, or
I find them online.
online?
Yeah,
Okay.
through Google. Yes.
Google? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can download them and burn a copy for yourself. I do that all the time. And then I can sit there and play them and stop them and play them and stop them. And I can use them for teaching.
Sure.
Because what I can do is take students through, this is how you introduce your character. This is how you give him your character a distinction. This is what it takes to make each of your characters unique and different. They're priceless learning tools.
Yeah, thank you. And you said there were
Thank
about
you.
only 15 to 20 pages, the shorts?
For shorts, yeah.
Oh, wow, that's
Yeah,
pretty
for
short.
Oscar-winning short films, you're looking at basically those are 18 to 20 pages, maybe 25.
Okay.
But you don't, in a short, you have to deal with your issues right up front. You don't have time to dilly-dally around and, play with other issues. You have basically one character, one theme, one idea, one place to go. So you start out with an idea, and the first thing you think of is the end. And now you look at how you get from the beginning to the end. Quickly.
Okay. Great. Yeah, so I mean,
Thank
when
you,
you're
Doug.
talking, oh, thank you. When you were talking about, it has to be, themed and, really meaty. I was also, I mean, besides my interest in, kind of unsolved mysteries, I am interested in, reading something regarding reincarnation, just because, my culture, I'm Hindu, I'm Indian. My parents have always somewhat believed in reincarnation, so I kind of, I don't know if that classifies as horror, but I think by next script I kind of want to look into something on that too. So,
Now,
So far, I think I have 3 or 4 scripts that touch on reincarnation.
Yeah.
At my age, I like to write scripts about ghosts and stuff.
yeah, I mean it's a pretty it's a pretty
So a few years ago, I took a course through the Canadian Directors Guild. It was a 2-day weekend course. And we had to put together a 10-second movie and film it with our fellow students and then edit it together. Now you can see it on my YouTube channel, Christine J. Whitlock. You'll be getting a link tomorrow with the recording of this Zoom meeting, but 10 seconds, and it's called Hide, Hyde, and Shriek, you know, like hide and seek, but it's Hide and Shriek. So I thought I came up with a good idea, and our villain's wearing my my jacket. so I'm really proud of that short, and it's also on Vimeo and at Loose. So for anyone who writes short horror, another venue that's looking for writers is BoucherCon 2021. If you go to their website, BoucherCon2021.org, that's the World Mystery Conference. They're putting together their anthology for next year, and so they're looking for pieces, and I think November 1st is the deadline, because I sent them one of my short stories. So
Can you put that down on the chat?
okay.
Yeah.
BoucherCon 2021.org.
Also, can you write the name of the short that you did, the 5-minute, the one that you
10
said was a
seconds.
10-second? Yeah. I'll check it out on your YouTube channel.
Because, like Patricia, you need to build up your portfolio, right? And so
Yes.
10 seconds, you can do 10 seconds.
I can do 10 seconds. I'm very compelled. I want to see your 10 second short. I'm intrigued for sure.
And then you have to find a team of other people in the area that will help you and you help them in their goals to make a film together. So you have to write down all the stuff that you can do and what are you missing. Like you said, you can do the special effects, right, and the editing, and then so you need, you know, can you write, who's going to direct, you know, if
Yeah.
somebody's got a camera.
Well, I am lucky enough that my friend is the one who has the writing skills. He's probably going to be the writer. So I'll probably work with his script. I would have invited him to this, but he's doing something else right now. But he's aware that I'm here, so maybe if he sees this video later, hi Lance. But yeah, in terms of the other stuff, I've always worn many hats, so I can tackle a lot. But I'm making connections, a lot of nice people, meeting a lot of nice people that specialize in things that like camera work, and that's more of a secondary thing. So I'll probably, you know, give anybody who's interested, you know, let them handle that kind of stuff. But Doug had some very wonderful ideas. I hope if this becomes available, I'll share this with Lance so he can see what you said
Tomorrow.
earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely excited. Plus, I'm curious to see how you can do a 10-second story. Like, I work in with broadcast stuff, and I get a lot of 15-second marketing material. And you know, like even a 15-second spot, it's challenging to really cram it all in there. It's doable, but it's like how much can you say in 10 seconds? I'd be curious.
Pay
And
attention to
also,
a lot of advertisements.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean,
There are some really good ones out there. And
yeah.
they cram an entire story into 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, you can fit a lot. Like 30 seconds makes a world of difference. And
And
like
we
to go from
have
30 to
festivals
50.
out here for 500-second films, 3-minute films.
Oh yeah? Oh, I love the short form stuff. I'm
Yeah.
Really, that's something I would love to do. Like to make something that's a good, 3 minute long around that area. I feel that that's sort of the next kind of goal for me.
Yeah, I have one of those ready to go, and I'm using it to train cinematographers and directors, but I can't find anybody out here that's really interested in doing it. There's no interest.
You don't have an artist collective there? Like in Hamilton, we have the Factory Media Center where you can network with other filmmakers. And also we have the Hamilton Film Festival, and he's a great resource, the gentleman who runs that. So in Oregon, do you have a film festival there?
Oh, I've had several here. I used to direct one, but and I've been a judge on a couple of them. We have some big ones up in Bend, and we used to have one in Eugene that kind of just went by the wayside. I'm on the board of directors of MOPAN out here, the Mid-Oregon Production Arts Association. And Eugene and Springfield and Corvallis and Salem, this is where young people go to retire. They don't go to work here.
Oh.
So Patricia, I had a question for you. We talked about how some of the shorts are about 2 to 3 minutes, but I've noticed that just I'm pretty active on social media like Instagram, Facebook, and I actually watch a lot of advertisements. I'm in marketing as well. And I was wondering like how, do the same, kind of principles and elements apply to like if you were to shoot an ad, like an ad for any company. I noticed that they're really focusing on the content, and that's also So
So you want to know about script writing for marketing material?
yeah, like for an advertisement, like let's say it doesn't, you don't make it a feature, you don't make it a short film, and the people who are producing an advertisement, they want to make it an advertisement instead of like a short, because if the content is related and it's good, like what is your take on that?
Well, what I usually do with the film marketing stuff that I do, we usually we have international distributors that Universal and
Oh, I was just gonna say, Shadow, have you got some sound going on? Or
Yeah, and I can't find any mute button on here anymore. They all disappeared on me. Oh, wait
it's
a minute, try
usually
this.
in the bottom left-hand corner. That's
Is
how.
it? Oh, the mute button.
I think there's a way to do it on your laptop too, or your computer. Yeah,
That's okay. It was a little weird with the sirens, but it's all good.
No, because it doesn't look like I can unmute you or mute you.
Okay, now I don't know if I muted you or not.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear us?
I can hear you now.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, well,
Oh, there it is. Mute. Okay, I muted you. Okay.
The power.
Came up. The button came up.
With absolute power comes great responsibility. So yeah, we're given stuff that's already produced. Like usually they give us like a 2-3 minute long trailer that promotes, let's say, Wonder Woman.
Sure.
And from that, we filtered it down to shorter durations. And as you filter it down, you can't, there's a lot of things you shave off, and that's basically what we encounter. Like, how can we still tell a story that sells at least a specific part of this story, in 10, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, things like that.
Sure.
So we're taking a story that's already longer, and then
Right.
they're shaving away until we can get it down to a shorter size. So that's
Okay.
usually how we produce our cut downs.
Okay.
So
Do you have to follow a script for that, or is it like a?
I haven't encountered a lot of restrictions. Obviously, it goes through an approvals process. But generally, if they're okay with the long form narrative, for us to produce a shorter version, we're not sort of damaging the way they want to market the material when we take something that's longer that they've approved and we're taking away from that to produce a shorter version. So I personally haven't really run into any kind of, you know, roadblocks there. They're usually pretty okay with what we produce.
Sure.
I haven't done any advertising work in a few years, but I've noticed that for the car companies, they just want some B-roll. They want to go out
Right.
and show their shiny little car racing along, a leaf-covered highway someplace. So we don't actually do the ad. We just sell them some B-roll.
Okay, sure. Yeah, but I just noticed that, I've just been watching some, product-based advertisements and things like that, like Apple and Google, like I feel like a lot of their advertisements are much more compelling, much more, like it seems like they have like actual script and, production, like, yeah, they follow kind of the elements of film as well. So yeah, I mean, I know they want to engage more, and yeah, they care about the story of the advertisement. So yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So Brian, if you got a website that you want to put into the chat so that you as a music person, they can check you out, because if these are filmmakers.
Yeah, I can. Well, I'm in the process of kind of revamping my personal website, but I can put my SoundCloud on there as well. I've got some samples and things up there.
Yeah, if you want to put that link into the chat, and then I'll also send that off tomorrow, whatever's in the chat, in the email, so that people can check.
Are you comfortable in scoring a short?
Yeah, I've scored a few. Like, what length are you talking about? Or like, what do you?
15-minute, 12, 15-minute short.
Sure.
I have two characters in this. I need a soundtrack for character. I need a character ID soundtrack for one, and I need a character ID soundtrack for another one. And as the overall writing theme, have you ever listened to Three Dog Night's recording of When I Die?
I have not, but what I usually do is more like orchestral and stuff like that. I don't really do a lot of like rock and things. So
But at least he'll get to hear what you've done so far, and you
yeah,
don't know until you hear something.
yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Hmm.
So the basic answer is no.
Well, I mean, no, it depends. Like I scored one recently that was sort of half and half. It was a short film, and the first half was kind of a standard kind of dramatic horror type feel, and then once it hit the midway point, it was a comedy, and then the score shifted to like a similar in feel to a band called They Might Be Giants. But so it just depends on what it is. Just in general, most of the stuff I do is more of your standard like orchestral stuff, like Bernard Herrmann or Jerry Goldsmith, that sort of feel. Those are two of my bigger influences.
Can I ask you something? Um,
Me?
yeah,
Yeah.
from where I'm coming from, being new to this scene,
Hmm.
I'm doing a lot of stuff out of pocket.
Yep.
So, I have a subscription to one of these sites that gets me a lot of assets in Vado Elements,
Hmm.
and I, can get music from there. Obviously, the music is hit and miss, mostly miss. If you really want something that's the right,
Yeah.
it's not going to happen. But you can get like 80% there at best, I find.
Hmm.
But it's been helpful, But what I haven't done is approached someone like a composer uh, because I don't want to waste anybody's time. I
Yeah.
assume that here I'm paying, I forget, I think it's a couple $100 for an annual membership for this thing,
Hmm.
and then it's a blanket license, and I'm covered. Um, but I assumed that to get some professional to score a short would be a couple $100 at minimum, just for the
Yeah.
score.
Yeah.
Um, so how does it work producing like is there a lot of business there like from short filmmakers that have the financial pockets to be able to fund this?
There are. I mean, there's quite a few people making shorts. You're not going to make a whole lot of money off of it, but a lot of times, especially with the shorts, it's for people who are like really trying to pad out a reel, and they need examples so they can get bigger work. I mean, there's been depending on the project, and the level of interest from composers, you could get, a someone would probably do it for a very reasonable price, or there are people out there who will do the right project for free, just depending on what it is. Um, but if you do enough of them, then yeah, you can make money off of just short films. But the um, real bread and butter is features. But it's just, those are much harder to come by, and also with how much easier it is to do production on your own these days. Like, I can do full orchestral score on my laptop, in my studio, and it's like, so with how easy it is to do that these days, you also have a whole lot more people vying for those opportunities, and so it's like, it, sometimes people will post on Facebook or so looking for a composer, and they'll have 200 comments in like 4 hours of people wanting to do it, so I'd say just reach out, like at the very least you could put out, a call on Facebook or whatever. There's tons of groups, and somebody will probably be able to meet your price point, and then at the very least, you have the opportunity to have something that fits the music a little bit better than stock. Yeah.
Thanks, I
No
appreciate it.
problem. Yeah.
For my fourth feature film, Days of the Iguanas, my girlfriend's boyfriend was a musician, kind of Jamaican, and I bought one of his CDs, and on there, like, I absolutely fell in love with the piece, and it had a really long instrumental intro before the vocals, and I used it so many times in my movie, and I was able to piece it here and there, and I paid him, a small amount, but the
Yeah.
big thing was that in Canada you have to fill out all the paperwork for SOCAN, because they
Hmm.
really check on you about that. That you really have to, and they're they really police all kinds of musical things, because I was running an event group, and they sent me a letter saying that I have to pay this amount of money because I'm using music. And I said, I'm not using any music, during this event. They just presumed and was going to charge me for, residuals. And then the lady who was running fashion shows, I said to her, if you use anything that's not original to you, you're going to have to pay residuals to this SOCAN, because they're going to find you.
Mm-hmm.
They've they're the sound police, right? The music police. So you can't what's the word? Steal and try to use copyright sound. And then there's some famous horror filmmaker. He said he made more money on his music than he did in his films. The Clyde Barker, or
John Carpenter writes music.
maybe it was John Carpenter. Yeah, and he said he made more money through the music than he did through the films.
Yeah, he even had a tour that he did like worldwide. I think it was in 2018 or 19, playing his music live.
So yeah, it seems like he was a producer, screenwriter, composer, musician, and film director. Yeah, so he was pretty broad.
Yeah, John Carpenter, like he famously said that in his early movies, he did all the music because he hired the only composer he could afford.
It's pretty cool. I like it when people have like celebrity or like famous screenwriters or producers have multiple streams of
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that show. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm kind of like that too. So it gives me hope that I can do multiple things.
Well, all of the crew positions that you can put yourself down for IMDb, like I must have 10 for each of my films, because there wasn't much that I didn't do for each of my 4 films.
Yeah.
So the more skills that you can learn.
Did you put that all in the end credits? Just your
Oh
name?
yes. Oh yes.
Why not, right? I mean, you did it. You did all the work, right?
Yes, and in my first 3 movies, I had 100 cast and crew, and then in my 4th movie, there was only, I think there was less than 10 of them. My 3rd movie, there's 120, because we had all kinds of boats in Burlington Bay shooting the 3rd one for Marina Monster.
Oh. So Christine, do you have an IMDb page, or do you have like a
Yes. Yeah. And,
okay.
yeah,
Do you think you can share that? Or
Christine J. Whitlock. Yeah.
Christine J. Okay, I'll take a look at it. Thank you.
And I couldn't reduce my picture. It's a picture somebody took of me at a birthday a couple of years ago with a candle on a little cake. So, and I tried to just cut it down to my headshot, which I have every place else, but it wouldn't let me. It was too small for IMDb to upload. But it has the trailers of my movies on there. The 3 that were on Netflix. So
It looks like a very delicious dessert.
you saw it, eh?
Yeah, I've got it on my screen.
Yeah, that birthday's coming soon, so I guess I'll have to buy myself my own chocolate cake. Nobody wants to go anywhere for restaurants, and now it's even getting worse in Ontario. Our numbers went up to 700 today.
Yeah. We're on the upswing.
So we're
Christine,
probably,
can you share your IMDb link? I was
Sure,
trying
I
to.
got it.
Oh, okay, all right,
I'll send it
all right. Thank
because
you.
I'm right there. Let's see, Zoom meeting chat. Paste to Nick.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, all right.
Thanks. Yeah, I'll take a look at it.
so Fatma, can you introduce yourself, unmute yourself and introduce yourself to the group?
Hi, yes, my name is Fatima. I'm from New York, and I'm so happy to join you. I'm sorry for late, but
No
I have two
problem.
kids. Yeah, I should take care of them first.
I hear you.
Yeah,
I had to coordinate with my wife with our two kids as well.
yeah,
It's a
And
challenge.
so
yeah.
what are you working on? Tell the group.
Actually, I just started screenwriting, and now I'm studying, and I like, I'm working on a short script from a couple of days ago.
Good.
I put my feature film script away because I know I should learn a lot, and I just started. So yeah.
So I was saying earlier that tomorrow you'll get an email with a couple of documents, one with all of the Facebook horror groups that you can check into and also markets, and one document all about screenwriting, all of the places I get emails all the time.
Oh, perfect.
So, to check out all those websites and put your name down so you can get all their, because it's unbelievable how much free stuff you can get about writing. and
Yeah.
and I just watched on the weekend about a woman who put out $70,000 to make a movie, and it got worldwide distribution. So she was interviewed, and they showed all of their shooting and the filming of it, and it seemed to take almost a year to film, but that's an extremely great price, $70,000 for a feature film.
Wow. Yeah.
I didn't watch the whole interview, so I don't know how much of the money was her own, or where else she got it from, because that's certainly something to check into, is that there's various programs that will fund people for producing the I know the Canadian government, and if you don't ask or check out, like Google is a great way of doing it. And there's a gentleman, I'll have to find it on LinkedIn. He's got a book on financing, and so I was just telling Patricio that if you want to film it yourself, that you have to put a team together about, writer, director, producer, cameraman, and your actors and family and friends to get your project done. Because as long as you give everybody three things on a movie, do you know what the three things are? So first is craft. Craft is food. You have to buy a lot of junk food for everybody to keep their energy high. I was the caterer halfway through my first film, and then the second and third. I would make these little tiny sandwiches with little croissants with, lunch meat, and then I'd cut up all this cheese and have bananas and apples and all kinds of pop and cookies and junk food, because we only filmed on Sundays. So everybody had lots of junk food and stuff to eat. So second is copy. You have to give everybody a copy of the movie. You just can't believe how many filmmakers do not give their cast and crew a copy of the movie. And also credit absolutely everything that they did after the movie. um, you have to give them a credit. So some of them could be doing 5 or 10 different jobs. So you have to make sure that that they get credit for it, because one of my actors who's in all 3 of my movies, he now works on Broadway in New York. He's done quite a bit, and then New York, I think it was last Christmas, he did some kind of acting. Tom Hanks did it, where he was a conductor on a train. It was a children's.
Polar Express,
Yeah.
something like that.
Was it Polar Express?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they had a similar one in New York where he was like the Tom Hanks character. That was his role. So he's in Canada right now because of the COVID. And there's not much theater and that sort of thing going on in New York. But I had to write him reference letters of the work he did on my first 3 movies, and he was excellent. He progressed from a secondary character to the lead in the 3rd movie, and it certainly helped his career because he did a great job. So you have to tell all your actors. All the actors want credit, and the other thing, for your scripts, once they are finished, you need to do a table read. Now they're doing Zoom reads of scripts. So, tell your actors they're going to get a credit for doing a Zoom read, and if it's recorded, then again, they can use it as part of their portfolio, right? So
It's the new world.
That's
Makes sense.
right. Makes sense. That you have to do all these different things, and depending on the quality of your cell phone, they're making movies with cell phones, right?
I actually in Hamilton, there was a cell phone film festival just on Friday and Saturday, I think. And I shot one with my cell phone, and it was in the film festival, which has kind of inspired me to keep doing these kind of things and get more into it because of a
Well,
cell phone.
now you got accepted into the film festival. Did you get any honorary mention or anything, or win any prizes?
I didn't win any kind of prizes or anything like that. I don't think mine was one of the best ones that were submitted. There was a lot of wonderful ones there. I was just happy to be in. I only had a short period of time to get this done and submitted before the deadline. But I was like, oh, I have a little quick idea, and I just sort of put it together, and I just got it in there at midnight when it was due. So I was just happy that I was accepted. I was surprised, but yeah,
But
no, I
here,
didn't get
so here
anything.
you've got it on your resume, right? You can put it on your resume, and you've already done one, and you've seen the contest and who has won and the quality of the films and how they've done it. And you could probably download them and analyze them. So you could make another 5 or 10 on your own, all
Yeah,
different genre.
yeah, I would recommend it to anybody who is in this position that wants to explore it. It's costs you nothing, and the stuff the creativity is exceptional, and it's very inspiring because well, for me, I did exactly that. I watched both nights of the screening, and I watched all of the films, and I just thought, I had never even thought of doing this with my cell phone. They were holding like, you know, yeah, they're all very creative, but I was making notes.
Yeah. Where can I watch the video, the shorts of the phone shorts? Is there a website or?
I think they no longer have the shorts up. I think they only had it until Sunday or something, and then they took them down for maybe
Okay,
because it was over.
sure,
I'm quite sure if you Google, there must be, other places in the world that would have those kind of contests,
sure,
and probably, and check on YouTube,
right,
cell
okay,
phone shorts,
sure.
right? And what the other kind of video websites are, right? Vimeo, and there's a bunch of other ones.
Yeah, I would also recommend, especially if you're looking to get exercise on, crafting a story that is short. But this is new to me. But what I'm studying, I find there's a lot of interesting, very cohesive, short stories available on sites like Instagram and TikTok, which I'm new with. But you have such a short little window to make a little story, and these people do like a whole beginning, middle, and end, and they make it look so easy. But when I see it, I'm like, how the heck did you come up with that?
Sure.
So I mean,
Okay.
TikTok is surprisingly pretty good for really short stuff.
Yeah, I think they banned TikTok in US, or they're
Oh,
probably
did they?
trying. I
I
think Trump, I'm not really sure exactly the details,
Yeah,
but
Shadow's nodding his head.
oh, I had no idea. I thought
No,
Trump
yeah.
was like not a fan, but I didn't think that
I
they
It's being
think
banned it.
banned.
they actually got a
yeah.
injunction, and it's not. They had a court case, and so the ban isn't happening yet.
Oh, okay,
Well,
yeah, but it's in the
it's banned
process.
by federal government institutions. The U.S. military cannot use it. It's basically Communist Party spyware. Okay,
Yeah.
and there's not much real doubt of that fact.
Yeah.
So that government things can't use it. Period. And they're trying to they're doing some legal maneuvering where I think a big database company was going to buy it,
Oracle.
but the problem
Oracle,
is
yeah.
Yeah.
Oracle,
Or
right? But the problem
Microsoft, I
is,
think Microsoft, I heard too, they might have.
yeah, they were doing, but Oracle was approved in principle, but the problem is they were going to be buying ByteDance, and ByteDance directors would still be Communist Party members, and so the CCP won't approve the sale in the first place. So it's a big schmozzle. But the thing is, TikTok is on its way out in the United States one way or another. So,
Yeah.
So just to
justifiably so.
remind
I mean,
you,
we're on Zoom as well, and that's a problem for the U.S. government. They're not allowed to use Zoom in federal institutions either, for the same reason. The encryption goes through Beijing, number one.
Hi,
And
China.
there are in China, and if we started, I mean, it's been shown that if we began disparaging the Communist Party, we might have trolls suddenly pop in. Even in the United States, it happens and stuff like that. So anyway, they are considered security risks by the FBI, and there you go. I mean, they're still useful to us, but there you go. Anyway, enough of that. It's not filmmaking, but
so talking about horror, next month is my favorite time of year, Halloween. So if you're looking for props that you can touch up, especially all those severed arms and hands and toes and all that kind of stuff, go out and buy them, because this is the time of year to buy them. And also bring your cell phone to take pictures of the stuff in the various stores, because you never know what kind of ideas you're going to get of the costumes and the props. Like I have various birds and spiders and bats hanging around my office, and so I'm always buying more stuff. And this time I bought a whole bunch of makeup, because next month we're going to be back on October 26th. So hopefully you'll get dressed up for Halloween when we have our Zoom meeting.
Yeah, I think they canceled trick or treat. We don't have it this year, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah, but we can dress up for our Halloween Zoom meeting.
Yeah, we could do that. Is the 26th the next horror one, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Sure.
the fourth Monday of the month.
Okay.
And that's the one thing. I belong to the Horror Writers of America, the Ontario chapter, and normally, you know, there's a number of events in Ontario that we can go and sell our books or movies or whatever else we have. So none of that's happening this year. So we have to.
Is this why you're putting together this sort of Zoom setup because of you know, as an alternative to everything that's being shut down due to COVID? Is this your
Yes, yeah.
oh,
Well, also the Horror Writers of Ontario, they were meeting in Toronto, you know, like 7 o'clock, I think, and living in almost Stony Creek and trying to get to Toronto in rush hour. It can take up to 4 hours to get there. And, you know, depending on weather and traffic and accidents and all that, like, and I said, I'm going to start the Zoom meetings because I like to hear what, you know, people are doing, because you get ideas from different people, you know, you share things and so I think that's important because in my other script writing Zoom meetings, I met somebody from who's a director with Hallmark movies. So I'm writing. I'm on my sixth edit of my Hallmark mystery script. So today I started, and this is something for script writers to think about, because it was also brought up in a novel writing webinar, that after you finish your novel or your script, is you make yourself an Excel sheet and write down all of the scenes, and then put 3 to 5 words caption about what each of the scenes are about. And then you would also on your Excel sheet have all of the characters, the locations, whether it's day or night, interior, exterior, and then you've got a visual of, you know, how your scenes are working, that all your main characters are being written about enough, you know, and like my villain, is he there enough, or enough bad things happening for these mysteries? So that's suitable, like I said, for novels and also for scripts. I've broken down all of my scripts like that to make sure that the point of view is the right one, and all the and how all the characters are positioned. So have you heard of that, Doug?
Oh, I haven't.
Yeah,
So can you upload them on like Celtic? Like, let's say you create like an Excel sheet. Is it like Celtics friendly? If you want to like just save all your work on like one file, like with you know, your script, your you know, character list, your scene breakdown. Can you do that all through Celtics or?
I don't know Celtic, so I don't.
Oh, okay. Or any screenwriting platforms that, or that you can use all, like, you know, because it just can get really messy if there's, you know, too many files.
No, well, you can take a landscape format for your sheet and then break it down into columns.
Okay.
And make a grid, and and then do it that way to break down your script.
If you use
Just use the
Final
word.
Draft,
Yeah.
there's a thing called a tagger program, and it will break down your script. You know, you'll still have to go through it with colored pens and pencils and line by line and do it, but it gives you a very good breakdown of your script. There's also in the production, under the production heading, ways that you can get reports on scenes, on locations. You can divide it by day or by night. You can see which actor has more lines, which character has more lines than the other. There's all sorts of things in there within Final Draft itself that you'll find useful if you're going on forward, mostly into the production side of your film.
Sure. Yeah, I mainly use Celtics, I think, for, just for brainstorming and writing scripts, and that's been pretty good for me now. But yeah, I just wanted to explore other options to see which one is the best fit for me. Yeah.
I mean, the industry really is stuck on Final Draft, and there's good reasons for that. And it's just because it does set its pages out correctly for timing, and it does interface with different budgeting software properly. And the latest version, actually, the taggers is built in to it in Final Draft 11, I think. And it exports to different formats. And whereas Celtics, I think, is that still online? It's still an online version, or?
I use the online. I believe they probably have an app, but I've just been using online, and but they do update like the actual software, like the features.
Right.
They have ways to, you could I mean, again, like have files with different documents. There's different files for scripts, files for character lists, for like formatting, and so they do update things, which is nice. So, and they have different types of memberships.
I've had difficulty with Celtics because most of the industry, once you have to deliver it to a line producer, they want it in a Final Draft format, or director, ADs do that, and Celtics just doesn't put it into a Final Draft format. So it doesn't export it properly, so you have to go through hoops to put it into a RTF format or Word format, and then it has to be read into Final Draft, and then the formatting's all gone. So it's just, if your production pipeline is you're doing it and you're shooting it and everything is you or you and your friends, then it hardly matters what you use.
Sure.
You could use a piece of paper. Celtics works just as fine. If you have to hand that off though to other professionals in the industry, then you have to be aware that Final Draft really is the only game in town for that. And it's just the way it is,
Sure.
So,
Okay, yeah, I'll take a look at Final Draft. Yeah, I didn't know.
Is this Celtics program like an online cloud-based solution?
Yeah, so it's it's just CLT. I'll put it on the chat.
I mean, Lance, my friend, I believe he uses Final Draft. But I'm kind of curious. I like the idea of using Final Draft if that's the accepted workflow for the industry. I have to use Avid, and because that's what we use in broadcast. But I am also open to the idea, especially at this level, with me being small potatoes.
Celtics was good for me. I mean, I did a small kind of seminar, and and she recommended if you were to start, you could start off with Celtics, just because it's a little easier, it's more user friendly. And I mean, if you just want to write scripts and just get really familiar and just to have ideas, then it's a good way. I haven't looked into Final Draft, but yeah, I think.
If you really want to enter the profession, that you stick with the Final Draft, because it has kind of de facto become the standard. Now, there are plenty of others out there. I have done some research, and I think I found a dozen or so from Movie Magic and Celtex and I don't know what all, but they all come up short. When you're trying to move from writer to director to producer, stick with the final draft. And that's
Okay.
what industry uses, and it's expensive in that it'll cost you a couple of $100, but you know, you can take an online screenwriting class for $399.95. You know, I mean, having that final draft, if you're serious about going into the industry, it's just money you're gonna have to spend. You know, it's like going to UCLA film school. If you can do that if you want, or you can go out and spend 50 to $100 on a bunch of really good books, and you can learn the same information.
Sure. Thank you.
Well,
Final
thanks.
draft's 169 right now on special on this site. And if I'm not mistaken, I think
Really?
that
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it includes updates, but I'm not really sure. Hey, look,
Wow.
I don't see anything about that.
So talking about free webinars and learning places, it's going to be in that list of screenwriter websites that I'll be sending you tomorrow, but Roadmap Writers, they've got all kinds of free webinars that you can tap into, and just straight about writing, any kind of writing, is Readsy on YouTube. They have, I think every second week, they have a webinar on YouTube, and it's free to, it's usually on a Wednesday afternoon. And then they post the webinar, like it's live, and then they post it on YouTube. So they've got all kinds of different webinars on different aspects of writing. Your, you know, your description, your character, plot, and all that kind of stuff.
It's
So
called Ritzy. How do you spell it?